Yeah, we grew up, but nobody warned us. Life moves fast when the world keeps turning. Kids in the backseat, parents getting older. Still leaning on my brothers when the weight gets colder. Whoa, we're all just trying to make it through. Whoa, love you, pal, I got you. Whoa, we're all just trying to make it through. Love ya, pal, I got you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Love You Pal podcast. We're back for episode 2. Hopefully you enjoyed our episode 1 on Father's Day. Hope you had a great Father's Day. Spend some time with the family. Spend some time with your kids, maybe. Or maybe you just went out and had a day by yourself on the golf course or, you know, at the bar, wherever you decided to have Father's Day. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you were watching a little bit of golf, as we were watching the U.S. Open at Shinnecock, which is just an amazing golf course. So episode 1, kind of the why we're here, right? So we talked about the struggles of the sandwich generation, caring for kids, caring for our parents, and kind of being that voice that is left out of our generation. Not a lot of people talk about what we're going through, like, for real, because again, talking about that social media aspect, everybody wants to, you know, put up that perfect picture of family life, but we all know that there is a struggle and that we're going through it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you click the subscribe button because you liked what we had to say. And yeah, we're here for episode 2. Boys, happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Heck yeah.
Well, welcome back. Glad
And
you're
now
back.
Now you see our faces, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it could be cool. It could be bad. And who knows? Hopefully we don't drive people off with our lovely mugs.
Beautiful
Depends on the
thing.
day.
You can see all the knowledge that I have in my beard.
Yeah.
All this
I'm
gray hair.
not taking my hat off. It's all my grays and under there.
No, I look like Dad. I look like Dad if I take my hat off. Pure white.
If I
Snowy.
took my hat off
snowy
today
day.
and one of the kids' friends was like, "Man, did you just wake up?" I was like, "I need a haircut. Thank you." But thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks.
your
You gotta
for
put
your
it off.
response there.
Thank you for your honesty.
You always got to put it
I
off in the
appreciate
last
it.
minute.
What, haircuts?
Heck,
Actually, talking about haircuts, we're talking about shaving his head, buzzing his head like we used to get.
All right.
I told Brooks I'm
Back in
shaving
the
his
day,
head.
back in the 90s, where we're going to talk about 90s summers today, we used to all have our heads buzzed. It'd be like an event, Saturday night event. Once Dad and our uncle had a few pops, you know, a couple Coors Lights, we'd get the buzzer out and Meisterbrows, a couple maybe
did-
O'Douls to hide it.
we-
But
we did learn one thing though, Jay.
buzz our heads.
Never let Mom trim the back of your neck.
That's a
No,
that's
it
a
goes
fact,
too high.
buddy.
Goes too high.
Yep, way too high.
Way too high.
Yeah. It's
So
not
when you
just
look-
Mom though. My
it's
wife
great.
did the same thing to me when I was in the academy, and it didn't end well.
That's why we go to our man. We
We
used to go to our man, Johnny.
Old John.
Take-
Don't go to
take
Paul.
care
He'll
of
only
us.
cut half your hair.
Only half.
So tonight we're talking about 90s summers, and we're going to give you kind of a glimpse into the Wayback Machine of what our 90s summers were like. And we're going to talk about how we're going to incorporate some of that stuff into our kids' summers this summer for that 90s summer. Now, we all know, as this generation, there's a lot of things that we probably can't do with our kids that we experienced in the 90s because we're a little softer. Let's be honest. It's a little softer right now. But we're going to get into kind of what our summers look like when we woke up the day after the last day of school, and go through some ideas maybe of how we're going to incorporate that 90s summer with our kids and our families, and kind of just wrap it up. And hopefully you guys will send some comments on social media or to our emails. Let us know what your 90s summers look like so we can recap that next week, right? So let's jump right in, right? So what do you guys remember about summer when we were younger, right, in the 90s? So in 1990, I was 7, and Jay, you were...
I was 5.
6, 7, 6, 7.
6, 7. There it is.
And Michael was a baby.
Michael was a baby.
That's
Michael
right.
was 2 in 1990.
Yes.
But as we progressed through the 90s, right, we grew up a little bit, and we all kind of had similar experiences. So what do you remember?
Best part
Like,
of-
what are your...
Best part about being the youngest is I had less regulation.
You're welcome.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
nothing.
got mad about it.
Nothing. You can't remember the 90s without remembering waking up in the morning and being in a puddle of sweat because it was 86 degrees in the house and your ceiling fan just couldn't keep up with that humidity of mid-July
No air conditioning.
in Jersey with no air conditioning. I
Yeah,
don't
no
think
air conditioning.
we didn't have AC until what? I think we were in high school when we got
No, we
it.
didn't have AC until we moved out, and then mom and dad got AC.
No, they had AC for a little while.
That just didn't use it. Couldn't
They-
turn it on.
I could tell you
Nah.
it's the same now. When I was up there this week, it was the same thing. Windows open.
Windows open.
Windows open, ceiling fans on, buddy.
That's it.
But I mean, I will say I do miss a little bit of the nights where you hear the crickets and the owls and the fox screaming in the woods behind the house.
Coyotes.
Sounds like somebody getting
Coyotes getting a
murdered.
kill.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But yeah,
Nice
what are
summer.
your memories, right? Like what's the biggest thing that you remember about, and I'm not even going to say 90s, like childhood summers, right? So what are the memories that we have? What's your biggest memory? Jay, what's your biggest memory?
I mean, the biggest memory is we would just literally get up, get dressed, and be out for the day. Whether it was riding bikes, going down to Aunt Di's and swimming in the pool or fishing in the pond, taking the canoe out. It was just adventure. It was like go out and figure out what you can do. Build a fort in the backyard in the rocks, like in between the house and the school. Just build a fort or tie a kid to a tree. You never know.
Peeing off the top of a tree.
Peeing off the top of a tree, trying to climb as high as you can in the tree and getting stuck and having to be talked down.
Getting rocks dropped on your head from the top of a tree.
Gravity. It's how
Just
Michael learned about
yeah,
gravity.
That's how Michael learned. Yeah, it fell out of the sky. What happened? Fell out of the sky. Michael, what's yours?
I mean, when you think about just summer in general, the first thing that pops in my mind is when we switched to Mickey Mouse sheets. Because the Mickey Mouse sheets were the cold cotton sheets. Didn't matter how old I was, those sheets were the coldest sheets. I think just the like you said, the freedom, the waking up. I remember we didn't have phones, so we would get called home for lunch, and when it was time to come home for dinner, by a bell. It was an old school bell that rang loud enough to hear probably across town. You knew if you heard that bell, you had about 5 minutes to get your rear end home before you got questioned about where you were. I mean, that's how I got good at riding bikes, I think, because never learned how to gear until you had to pedal fast because you were all the way on Birchwood and had to ride back just to get to dinner on time. I think the number one thing that comes back to me, honestly, is deck dinners. Deck dinners in our house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The most. In fact, I just told this memory to Aiden. I said, next time you see Nani, ask her about the time she threw mac and cheese at Jay's face because he challenged her. Right?
Yeah.
Parents, right? Parents nowadays. I never would have thought about it, but as a parent now, I'm like, wow, like that's legit. That was a straight parenting move right there. We called mom's bluff and said, you won't. And she took that spoon of mac and cheese and launched it like she was in a lunch table at school. And it was like food fight.
I will never call mom's bluff again. I've done it a couple times, and she's just. We learned a lot about mom after dad died, and that after the Irish wake, when we had that conversation, we learned a lot that mom was a G, bro. She was not the angel that we thought she was. She was a G.
Heck yeah.
But she hit it well. She hit it well from us.
She did.
She worked her butt off because, I mean, Dad traveled a lot, so we didn't notice it at the time. I mean, we knew he traveled, but she did a lot of solo parenting. And I think us being out in 90 summer was her break, her ability to sit in some peace and quiet. And she always kind of knew, for the most part, where we were in town. As long as we stayed in the town limits, we were good. It was the true 90s summer. It goes back to the old 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? On the news broadcast.
Yeah, the old Fox News.
And you're like, why do they do that? Now as a parent, it's like they legit didn't know where we were. So they were reminding parents like, hey, if you have kids, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where they are?
Yeah, we had no trackers. We had no air tags, no tiles, nothing. No Apple Watch or anything
no
for
Life
our kids.
360.
You
said, all right, I'm going to so-and-so's house. And then you would go there. And then if mom called and said, hey, tell Sean to come home, and they're like, well, they're not here, then you knew you had a real situation on your hands, buddy. Hopefully you were coming home at that point, but if not, if you were not home, then it was going to be a real situation. Yeah. how many times, and this is funny because my kids do this all the time, right? How many times did you tell mom you were bored?
All the time.
I don't know
All
that
the
I
time.
ever did, dude.
I think we used to say it like, but you only got that one time. You would say it and you'd say like, I'm bored. And then you'd get all right, well, go outside, go find something to do. We got bikes, we got baseballs, we got footballs, we got basketballs, you got ping pong. Go do something. Go find a friend.
Yep.
I mean,
Go outside and
go
don't come
outside and
back
play.
in until it's either lunchtime or dinner time.
You had three reasons to come back inside.
We were
You were
outside
hurt,
so much.
it was dinner, or it was you had to go to the bathroom.
I think
And
mom
then you were
thought I was
outside again.
I think mom thought I was narcoleptic because we were outside so much. I used to fall asleep in the front yard.
You
That's
did.
one of
Yep.
absolutely right in the front
I would
yard.
just fall asleep where I was.
One of my favorite pictures of you is laying with the toy chainsaw, pretending to cut down trees asleep.
That's
It's
right.
one of the funniest pictures
That's
that we
right.
have.
I'm
Right
still
in the
that
middle of
way.
the yard.
Couple drinks, I just fall asleep.
Yep. You just fall
It's the
asleep
old
right
Irish
in the middle
goodbye.
of the yard after you hammered a bunch of nails into the tree stumps.
That's right.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
It's the old-fashioned way to get rid of the tree stumps. Occupy your kids at the same time.
And I mean, another crazy thing, right, about our summers as a child versus the kids, right? So now my daughter, right, she's at a friend's house, and like, how did they figure it out? I had no idea that she was going there. My son had a friend over today. I had no idea what was happening, right? But for us, everyone knew because the phone on the wall would ring, or you would call your friend and be like, "Hey, hello, Mrs. P, is Eric available?" And they'd be like, "Okay, hey, Sean, how are you?" And I'm like, I'm good, thank you. You had to talk to parents, right? You had to learn how
Yeah.
to talk to adults prior to even
Basic
talking to your
communication
friend,
skills.
which is we don't have that now, right? Like our kids don't have to do that. They text their friends on their phones and then they're like, all right, well, I'm going to so-and-so's house. And you're like, well, why? Why are you going to so-and-so's house? Who okayed this? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't even know who you're talking to. I don't know who their parents are. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, it's like you
Well,
used
you
to
used to-
have the old directory that you would get from school.
Yeah.
And you would get the list of all your friends' names and their address and their phone number and the mom and dad's names. You know that if you messed up and they knew you were at somebody's house, you knew that phone was going to ring and you didn't want your name to get called from that parent.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that I would love. Honestly, I would love to bring it back. I'd love to bring back landline.
Well, I think it's starting to come back a little bit. I mean, think about it now. I mean, yeah, we know where they are, but my kids have the Apple Watch or the T-Mobile watch, and I can see where they are. But it's like once I can see that there's a little bit of common sense there, go for it. You want to ride a bike? I think I said on the last episode, I lost my kid at the park fishing. I didn't lose him. I knew where he was, but he came home. Talk about a life lesson. He came home, and he was like, "Dad, you were right. That woods, it's a little scary at night." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
I'm going to
You
get him a
found your way
headlamp for
back.
his birthday.
You know what? He found his way back, and yeah, like I said, I knew where he was. I knew he knew the way back. I knew he knew the trail. He was with a couple of his buddies. But what better way to start your summer than riding your bike through a trail in the woods to go to a pond to catch bass? I mean, he's not sitting on a screen. He's not sitting watching TV. Hey, can I go fishing? The worst thing I'm telling him at this point is, dude, no, you can't go fishing. You just went fishing for 3 hours. We have stuff we got to do today. Like, I could have a bigger argument, like, get off the TV or get off of roadblocks or, put the Xbox controller down. No, I'm telling him, stop fishing, stop going out and riding your bike. Things could be 10 times worse.
Yeah, I mean, you live in a great neighborhood for that. That's the one thing that I miss about that living in that neighborhood is that the kids not having people so close. Like the neighborhood I live in is kind of similar. It's the neighborhood we grew up in is a cross between like where I live and where you live, Mike, right? Like, and Jay, you're kind of like where I'm at with, it's a little bit more spread out. There's not as many. It's a little bit of an older generation
an
here
older
that's starting to
development,
turn
yeah.
over. But Mike, where you are, it's like a kidtopia. Every time I drive into your neighborhood, there's kids everywhere, riding scooters and electric bikes and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, I have to, it's like it's like Frogger almost dodging kids.
Well, and one of the big things, I wish they would bring back, and we've talked, I've talked about it with my neighbors, and life is so busy, that's part of the reason we're doing this, because, balancing all of it. but like block parties and block parties back,
Yeah.
where you actually get to know, you don't have to be friends with your neighbors, but you at least have to, be neighborly. And we used to have block parties, which brought everybody closer. Then you'd wind up in a whatever little tyke's car going down
That's
a
a cozy
hill at
coop.
It was
cozy coop at, 30 miles an hour with all the dads chasing after you.
Mach 2 with
Jay's
your
I
got,
came
legs
out
out the
standing up.
window.
Jay's got a
I
story
came
about
out
that.
standing up.
We were just talking about that. We just, I was out with my neighbors in the yard. We were on the street, and good old Daddy was pushing our neighbor's daughter and started taking off down the hill towards the cul-de-sac. And I was like, I had mean flashbacks of Michael screaming as he's flying down the cul-de-sac.
It was
and
screams
launching
of joy. It was screams
yeah,
of joy.
until we let go of you. And then it was head over heels, cozy coop into the woods.
Yeah, because I hit that driveway and it was just another steep hill.
Yeah, you went down Frawley's driveway and it was all downhill from there, literally.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the craziest things that ever happened, was the cozy coop incident. But the block parties, I mean, do you remember having the Power Wheels? We would take the Power Wheels up and do like a
Yeah.
Power Wheels parade. Like we had the fire truck, Jimmy and Jeffrey had they had their red Jeep, and everybody had one, and we'd take them up to the cul-de-sac and drive them around, ride bikes. All the dads would be behind the grills, grilling burgers till they were absolutely cremated and eating cremated cheeseburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah,
all
I
night.
mean, what the scene it brings me back to, right, is that scene in the Sandlot on the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Before they
One
go
game
and
under the
play,
lights.
before they play the game under the lights, you see like they're all coming out of the houses. Everybody's outside grilling. Ham grabs like 2 hot dogs and a hamburger and shoves them in his mouth, right? Like, and I'm like, that's what I remember about like the block parties, is it was just food everywhere, people everywhere, but it was that sense of community that I think we lack today.
Yeah, there's
You're so fortunate if you have really good neighbors today, right? And a lot of times you don't even know, like there's neighbors that I don't even know. We see them, I'm very cordial to all my neighbors, right? We'll wave to them, but like I don't know them like we knew the neighbors. Like those were like dad's friends, right?
Yeah.
Like John, Jim, George, Dooley, like all those guys, they were all dad's friends. And it was nothing for a car to go up the street, stop at the end of the driveway, and dad talked to him for 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Oh,
He was
100%.
He was doing that up until months before he died.
Well, yeah, until he
He
had
would
to
walk her all the way up. He would take his walker all the way up, and somebody meet him at the top of the driveway, and he'd be standing out there for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
or
just,
they'd pull in when they see him sitting on the front by the front steps.
And I think that's something that our generation, I don't want to say lacks, but I think, thinking about it today a little bit, I think that might be, what's the word? It's part of that it's that 2-income generation, right? Like we live in a generation now where you have to have a 2-income household. If you don't have to, but if you don't, it's not easy to get by, right? Like I looked at a stat the other day, and in Maryland here, to be comfortable, you have to make like $260,000 a year to be comfortable.
Hmm.
Right.
And like we're in that metro Washington D.C. area where you have to have the 2 incomes. I mean, I moved out here in 2021 and my house has already gone up $250,000 because of the people moving out and trying to get away from the city. But you got to have that almost dual income, whereas like we grew up with dad went to work, he'd grab his leather briefcase in the morning, throw his peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there or bologna or whatever he ate, and he would go to work, and he would come home at 5:30, come in the house, kiss mom, we sit down to dinner. And that was what we did for 20 plus years.
Yeah, I think we were super fortunate that we grew up, and it's cliche to say, but like it was very Leave It to Beaver-esque, right? Like
Very much.
the way that we grew up was very Leave It to Beaver. It was, dad worked, mom stayed home, took care of us, took care of the house. But now, and I think that's part of the change in like that 90s type summer, is you have a lot of people telecommuting, and instead I got a Zoom meeting today. So little Jimmy, I'm going to need you to get on your tablet for 2 hours while I do this Zoom meeting, because I can't watch you and I don't know where you're going to be. So get on your tablet, and then when you're done, we'll do something. Or I have 3 meetings today and I can't watch you in the pool, so I need you to get on your tablet or watch whatever on, TV.
Well, I think it's a lot now. It's the carnival households. I heard it from somebody who I take a lot of advice from. You have these carnival households, and it was great when they put it that way. You've got all this going on in your house, and there's just this overstimulation of everything, whether it's toys, electronics, just trying to pack your kids' schedule so much that you kind of lose sight of who you are as a person, right? And when we had those block parties and we had, the summers where it's like, go outside, find something to do, make, occupy yourself. I don't care if you take a tree branch and turn it into a sword. Like, just find something to
Just
do.
not a
Use your
gun.
imagination. Just not a gun.
Just
No
not a
guns in
gun.
the
No
house.
guns.
Um,
No guns.
and now I have a huge gun safe. Funny how that table turned.
Well, that's part of the job.
But I get back into like what we're doing here. 90s summer. What does that have to do with like Love You Pal and this sandwich generation? We want to kind of be that block party. We want to bring that kind of stuff back because people aren't, of our age. We know what that is. We miss it. Part of it causes a little bit of an anxiety because you're like, I want to be out there with, people. I want to go have a couple beers with my neighbor. Or I want to have a fun day by the pool where the kids play and I can actually just be an adult. First time for me this summer or last summer, the twins were finally old enough where I actually found joy in going to the beach again. I mean, summers, right? As a
It's
parent,
true.
we enjoyed the beach as kids, but now I know my dad hated the beach because when you go to the beach as a parent, you're going to the beach. You're lugging everybody's stuff. You're dropping everybody's stuff. Then it's like, hey, I want a snack, or hey, somebody needs a nap. And you're the one walking them back to get a nap or going to get a snack, or they got to go to the bathroom, or, whatever issue. Like when you're a parent with young kids, you get to sit in the beach chair maybe for 5 minutes and
5
then you're up
minutes,
doing
that's a
something,
lot.
again. So, like I said, my kids are finally at that age where you kind of feel like an adult again a little bit. But this, like, what we're doing here is if we can't host a block party for everybody to come to, let's have a block party here. Let's all grab a drink, listen to Love You Pal, and we're enjoying
Cheers.
beers right now. We're enjoying beers right now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All you distributors out there that want us to promote your beer, let us know. But yeah, like this is our version of a block party. I can only imagine what the parents actually talked about with us riding the cozy coupe down. Like while we were all doing crazy things, the parents were having some kind of conversation. We just weren't around for it.
Yeah,
So
that's a great point.
I'd love to know what their conversations were and also know like how much did it really relate to us? Like how much is our generation that much different outside of electronic social media and all that kind of stuff, right? This power of connection that we have now, that was their social media then. That's when they gossip. That's when they had their drama talks. I just would love to know what some of those conversations were. I'd love to go back in time and just be a fly in the wall when we're sitting at the bottom of Karen Court and all the dads are sitting in lawn chairs, drinking beers, going, oh, crap, there goes that cozy coupe again. Or here comes so-and-so. I didn't think they were going to show up. You know what I mean?
That's coming back to that social media, right? So like I know instantly what people are doing every day because they post their stuff on social media. Back then you got together at the block party and it's like, hey, what have you been doing this summer? You went to the beach? Okay, what beach did you go to? Who went with you? Who,
Did you like it? Was it good for the kids?
Right. Hey, we're thinking about going to Deer Lake next week on
Jax, come
Wednesday and Thursday, right? Like, okay, cool. We'll meet you there. What time do you want to meet there? Oh, we'll meet at 1. There was no text message. It wasn't a phone call that was like, hey, we're going to go here now, or hey, I'm over by the slide. That's where we're sitting. It was you walked in because on Tuesday, your friends said they were going to be there. You put your stuff down by the slide because that's where they said they were going to be. And I think as nice as it is to see what people are doing, right, to reconnect with, because social media is a lot about connection as well. It's nice to see what my friends from high school are doing, the ones that I've lost a little bit of touch with, and my friends from college. But at the same time, we lose that personability of actually picking up the phone and talking to somebody.
Right. 100%. And with social media, like, way before, like, people are posting stuff that they're going on vacation, and it was cool to like be like, you heard so and so went to Disney last week and like this is what they did, or they went to the beach and they beat their parents in putt-putt, or they won this giant stuffed animal on the game at the boardwalk going down the shore. And like that was also a big part of our summer, was going down the Jersey Shore.
Yep,
like
that was our
going
vacation.
down to grandma and grandpa's and sleeping in the attic where it's also 800 degrees.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah, they
I don't
definitely
know
didn't have air conditioning.
how we didn't wake up with sweat dripping through the ceiling because there was no air conditioning. Like you hoped for a southern or northern breeze so it would blow through the house, or you were not sleeping. You were like sleeping on the beach.
Legitimately. You were legitimately cooked.
So it's like playing in the backyard with trucks and Tonka trucks. And like, how many days did we spend digging in like when they drilled the new well at mom and dad's house, and we had that giant mud pit.
Nasty gray
It was
soil.
so gross. But we
like
had all the
mud
Tonka trucks in it. It was great. How like taking the GI Joes and burying them in dad's horseshoe pits, taking the matchbox cars and smashing them between two rocks. So we had a junkyard. Like, that's all the stuff that the kids miss out on. Everything was about rocks.
Well, we smashed them too because we had to have car crashes so that we could respond to them with the fire trucks.
With the fire trucks,
police cars, right? Because that,
right.
I mean, everything comes back to that.
We grew up in the town where, Sean, your birthday party was a police birthday party, the chief of police brought the police car.
Correct.
To the house. So,
yeah.
I mean,
it was kind of predetermined for us on like what our jobs were going to be. I mean, look at Grandma, Officer Freddie.
Yep. Officer Freddie.
We had the freedom to ride our bikes, and those of you listening, I know some of you have been there. Seaside Park, just south of Seaside Heights. I would not think to let my kids ride their bike 2 blocks away in the heart of summertime. Yet here we are, quote unquote, responding to calls that Grandma dispatches us to. Why? To get us out of the house because we were pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, like, she was like, oh yeah, there's a robbery at the bank. Go find the robber at the bank, which the bank was 2 blocks away. So it would take us time to respond to the bank. Then we would do something with our wooden guns. The only time we were allowed to have guns.
There had to be wood. The only guns they had to be wood. Were wood. Mom was
and they had to be made by Grandpa.
Yeah,
Grandpa
she did not like guns. She was not NRA for sure, not pro gun. But Grandpa made us toy guns with the bandsaw and the sander, and then he made us Civil War muskets with the same thing.
But that was our childhood. It was just, I hate to say it, it's like, how can we get rid of them? Get rid of these 3 boys. These 3 boys have high energy, and they need to go do something, get their energy out. I mean, Mom just shared with me not too long ago, Deer Lake, and I didn't realize it until we were talking about, the yacht club that I mentioned in my intro. So if you guys have seen my intro, the yacht club, I know it sounds bougie. It is as redneck yacht club as it gets. Super inexpensive, which is awesome for a family of 7. But it's like my Deer Lake growing up, right? I show up. I was just sitting talking to some other dads. We were actually talking about the podcast. And they were like, I would never put a pool at my house because I come here to have cheap crushes, and my kids show up, see their friends, they go in the pool, Aiden goes and fishes. Like, I don't see my kids while I'm there unless they're in the pool and I'm watching them in the pool. Other than that, I'm sitting talking to some dads, just blowing steam off, talking about God knows what. We just have dad conversations. And Mom was saying, like, Deer Lake, Dad traveled, Mr. Riley traveled, and she was always there with the Rileys, and I didn't realize it. They planned it because both their husbands were gone. They were trying to figure out dinner. They were trying to get energy out. So we go to Deer Lake and stay late. I'll never forget. We'd stay until almost dark.
We'd shut it down.
We'd stay till dark every night.
Yeah. And we get lost in the trails. That's right. In the screened-in porch. It was
chicken nuggets.
And then it was like an adventure when you see him take the motorboat out on the water. We
always knew a sailboat was in distress.
Or to rescue Jason when he gets lost on a sailboat.
It was a bad storm. Man, I was on the other end of that lake, and it was not a big lake, but I was on the other end, and Ken was there, and I was losing my mind because it blew real fast. It came up real fast, and I was on the other end all by myself in this little sailboat, and I had to have Mr. Ken talk me with the megaphone all the way back, tacking, jibing, whatever the lingo was, but luckily I made it back. Mr. Ken didn't have to take the motorboat out to save me, but
it's a good thing we took sailing lessons.
It was the last day I ever sailed in my entire life, and I never need to do it again. Put a motor on that boat, baby.
Let's, linking that back to like our last episode, we lived in crisis, right? You live in crisis now. Everything's a crisis. That's how we learned at a young age. Like, you're on a bathtub literally with a sail in a lake, and you've got to figure out how to navigate your way back, swallow your fear nonetheless, thunderstorm rolling in, and you've got to put trust in somebody that you don't know if you trust a whole lot. Now, we trust in Mr. Ken, beyond
Mr.
belief.
Ken,
But
Yeah, Mr.
at
Ken was
the
he
end of
was
the
the best.
day, we had to learn to navigate a crisis of being stranded on a lake, not a pond, on a lake in the middle of a thunderstorm. You can tie
Yeah.
that into like our lives now. Like, Sean and I know Jay, you've kind of developed this. I'm in a it is what it is phase. Like, all right, we got a crisis. It is what it is. We'll face it. We'll deal with it. If it sucks, it sucks. If we get through it on the positive, then we get through it on the positive. If we learn some lessons from it, we learn some lessons from it. But there's no playbook to any crisis, and we started at a young age, with these kind of things, especially on
Like
the lake.
it, learning about crisis and how to deal with it's a huge part of growing up. Like you lose whatever toy your parents tell you not to lose, and you lose it, and you got to figure out what you're going to do. You're going to find it or you're going to tell them. You got to walk through it, and you're on the middle of a lake on a sailboat, and you're 8 years old, and this storm blows up, and you don't have a clue what to do. You got to figure it out. And I feel like a lot of this generation that we're raising, a lot of it comes back to we've done it for them, and our parents were figure it out, go out and figure it out. We had to figure it out, and crisis never goes away. We're going to talk real life. We're going to talk real life. I'm going through a crisis right now. My position was eliminated from my current contract, so I'm looking for a new job currently. And you know what? A crisis is a crisis, and it is what it is. Growing up and learning how to deal with crisis is part of life. And you know what? And not to get the whole faith thing in, but God has a plan, and it's never a straight line. It's never going to be a straight line. Your life is never going to be a straight line. Don't think it's going to be a straight line. You're always going to have that curve in the road, and it's how you're going to handle that curve in the road. You can handle it like a motorcycle on gravel, or you can handle it like a Porsche on a racetrack. You got two choices, but it's all about getting through it and making the not even necessarily the right choices, but figuring out how you work through it and get through that crisis is the biggest part. So there's a million different ways to handle it. I'm not saying that there's one particular way that you should handle it, because there isn't. So we're here to help kind of work through those crises. If you have that crisis and we've all been through it. There's 3 of us here. We've all worked through it in some way or somehow.
And they're all different.
And everything's different. Nothing's ever going to be the same, but you may take person A's, part of person A's, and part of person B's and put them together and have option C, and it may work out. So
That's
it
part
is
of
what
why
it is.
part of why we're doing this is 3 brothers, right? We all 3 of us communicate. There is when you grow up in a house that is odd, right? An odd number. You got the 3s, and in our household, Jay and Sean, sometimes they're close, sometimes Sean and I are close, sometimes Jay and I are close. There's always I don't want to say odd man out, but there's always a rotation of who's talking to who more often and not. And bringing the 3 of us together on this one platform, we all know each other's crisis. We all, and even when we communicate with each other and, think we keep it between the 2 of us. No, it goes to the 3 of us. I can wind up in the ER and I'm getting a text message about exactly why I'm there. We won't go into those details, but I'm like, how the heck did you find out? I just got literally discharged. But because, we don't hide it, and we're not going to get mad at each other for sharing it, because that's, at the end of the day, that's how you get through these things. That's how you come up with a logical, real solution to that problem, right? And 90s summers, right? Why are 90s summers more important than the 90s? We're talking about 90s summers because school was structured. You had to go to school. You had to be there at a certain time. Your responsibility was limited. 90s summers, you had to learn to be responsible and accountable, because, again, growing up in Boonton Township, where Dad knew the police chief, Dad knew the police lieutenant, he knew the newest officers, he knew the fire department. Like, you couldn't get away with anything. So we had no choice but to be accountable for our actions. Because if we didn't come to Mom and say, hey, this happened while I was at Glenn's house, or this happened while I was at George's house, like, she was going to find out if she didn't already know. So you had to learn that accountability and responsibility, at least in our household, right out of the gate, where during the school year, it was the only stress we had was running home in time to delete the message that's from the teacher that called and left it on the voicemail, or on the answering machine.
You
not
couldn't
even
do
a
that. You get
voicemail.
a note coming home. You'd have that
Yeah, now
note.
you
The
got a
teacher would
note that
call
had to
you
be
up
signed.
and she would say, give this note to your mother. And you're like, no. And then the biggest thing, right? And it's funny because my kids started watching Full House again. The biggest thing was mom would be like, well, looks like you made some bad decisions at school. No TGIF this week. And you're like, no. What do you
No.
mean
Jay,
I
can-
can't watch
Jay,
Full
can you
House and
record it?
Step by Step?
Jay, can you record it?
Family Matters.
Right.
But Urkel has
What's
this
Urkel
thing
gonna
this
do this week, Mom? How am I
Right.
gonna know what happens next week?
Exactly. Yeah, and
That
like
was
that's
like
like
that was the biggest punishment. It was like, you're gonna miss this, and now you got to sit and watch Jeopardy with me. But then
And there's
you can't
no-
watch after Jeopardy.
No,
yeah, you
there's
can't
no on
watch
demand.
no Wheel of Fortune because you kind of like it. Nope.
Nope. Go right
Just
to your
Jeopardy.
room.
Yep.
Go right to your room. No TGIF for you.
That's why I got
Well,
really
that-
good at rolling pennies. I used to roll pennies because I was so
Oh,
bored in
yeah.
my room.
Yeah. Well, it's like, so when it comes to like the 90s summers, like what is something that you see in your kids that like a story about your kids that we could relate back to the 90s, like teaching them something? Like for me, like I think about like coaching my kids and like being a baseball coach, being a t-ball coach, and like sitting back and listening to the Casey at the bat stories that we would get after Saturday baseball t-ball games. And with you hope that you got to hold one of the banners that had part of the illustration on it and get to hear the Casey at the bat story for the 19th time. But every time it was awesome. Like that was something that I loved about it. And that's really why I got into baseball was the time I spent with the coaches and everything and the leaders that I had in t-ball.
Jax.
Yeah.
I mean, mine.
Jackson is Michael's dog, by the way. He's been yelling at him the entire
And
time.
snapping at him.
Can you
and
still hear
snapping
that?
at
Hit the
him.
mute
So-
button.
I'm gonna try to edit that out, but
Yeah,
Sorry.
just leave it in. It's part of we're real life,
fine.
right?
Jack's,
Real life.
Jack's at the door right now. He wants to go to bed. But no, it's funny because that's why I love what we're doing here and kind of going back through, because even though like we reminisce all the time, but this is stuff that like it's in the back of my mind, but it doesn't get pulled until like we start talking about it, right? Like I can visualize being at RVS on the field and doing the Casey at the bat stuff. Like I
Mhm.
can see it.
In
in
your
my brain
Roma's
now.
pizza T-shirt and hat.
Oh, it was always Mike's Auto, man.
Mike's Auto.
Old Mike Ezzy,
Well, see,
old Mike's
and
Auto.
I mean, I remember playing sports, but I remember wholeheartedly that I hated practice because I explored. I just like to be free-willed. Just let me go out and find stuff to do. And that's how I got close with, Uncle Jim. My summers are like what I'm pushing mainly with Aiden. So Aiden's my 9, almost 10-year-old. He's getting to the point where I'm letting him explore and learn things on his own. Like, all right, you want to go and fix something? Go ahead, go fix those bikes. There's my tools. Go find a tool, go fix those bikes. Just learning something new on your own. Like, don't come to me and say, hey, I want to learn how to do this, or I want to learn how to do that. Like, I'm happy to teach you. I'm happy to take the time, but hey, try first. Like, there's a phrase, I think it's Matthew McConaughey was talking about his dad. And you don't come to me and say, I can't do something. No, you can do it. You're just having trouble.
Yeah, he wasn't
And-
allowed to say can't.
No. And that's kind of where I'm at with like Aiden. Abby's still a little young for it, but even Avery, my oldest, it's not that you can't, it's that you're having trouble or you need help. Ask for help and I'll help you do it. You're going to do it, but I'll help you do it. So it's kind of like learning that like I said, going back to that responsibility and accountability. Like if you're going to ride your bikes 3 miles from home without mom knowing, you darn well better figure out how to get home when you've gone too far and you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? I took this trail off of Split Rock. I'm in Rockaway now. I have no idea how I got to Rockaway. And now I got to find my way home before dark.
Yeah, I never did that.
Yeah,
I didn't go
bad
that
move.
far.
Don't do
No
it.
way.
Don't do it.
No,
we were
was
going
the
up.
one.
We were going up to Split Rock to test out some of the satanic legends up there.
I was gonna say you were looking for the seances up there, buddy. No, I mean, I think Michael, you bring up a good point with like Uncle Jim, right? So a lot of our summer revolved around going to our aunt and uncle's house. So my dad's sister, or our dad's sister, lived about a quarter mile from us, and they essentially, Aunt Di and Uncle Jim were our second parents, and Jill and Jeff were our brother and sister, and we fought like brother and sister. Aunt Di and Uncle Jim treat us like their own kids. They would yell at us. Uncle Jim was at times one of the scariest individuals in the world, but the man had the heart the size of the United States. He was just the most gentle giant. And some of the things that we did, mom knew about him, but and dad knew about him, but it was always an adventure going there because you have older cousins, that was the first time that we get introduced to soda was at Aunt Di's.
Yeah, orange
So
soda.
mom used to make us orange soda, and it was seltzer and orange juice. So then we go to Aunt Di's, and Aunt Di's, we're like, can we have some orange soda? And she's like, here. And she hands us like a Sunkist. And we're like, this isn't orange soda.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, this is orange soda.
Yes.
So we drink orange soda. We go home. We're like, Mom, can we have some orange soda? And she pours us the old seltzer and orange juice. And we're like, nah, this ain't it anymore. Come on, lady.
High
Give me
octane.
some real orange soda.
Give us the high octane.
And she was like, no, we never had soda in the house. But I know, you know who did? Aunt Di.
And fruit roll-ups.
Roll-ups. She had everything. And we just, it was freedom without being over free, if that makes sense, right? We had the freedom to go down there and, Aunt Di would, because we weren't her kids, we were her surrogate kids. She was like, yeah, do whatever you want, Hey, you want to ride the backhoe with Uncle Jim? Cool.
As the first time I heard the F word was on the backhoe when he blew a hydraulic line. I remember I'm sitting there yesterday, sitting there right next to him. He goes to lift the lever to make the bucket come up, and right in the face, we took hydraulic fluid. Bleep. And it was probably one of the funniest things ever. I think we were going to take a tree down and push it down with the backhoe, but going down to Aunt Di's was always part of an adventure too. We would get you get on your bike and we would ride down to Aunt Di's. It was great until you had to ride home and Killer Hill. This hill was brutal, and
you can't put your bike in the back of the Buick.
You can't put your bike. Yeah, you can't put your bike in the back of the Buick.
That's what I remember. I remember going places with Dad summertime. What were you, Simon and Garfunkel? You just rock out to Simon and Garfunkel.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's both
Denver.
Dragon.
John Denver.
I just introduced Aiden to Puff the Magic Dragon. By the way, we spent our trips. So I took some of the kids down to Ocean City to meet Brittany, and I had half of them on the car ride back. And we did an old school music. And I'll tell you what, seeing Aiden's face when I'm playing these songs and singing along to him, Puff the Magic Dragon, they're all asking, play Puff the Magic Dragon. So that's a hit in our house now. Now Alexa, that's all Alexa plays. Those rides with Dad going up, to the mall or wherever we were going at the time and just jamming out to I dig rock and roll music. That's the big one that, comes back, right?
101.1. CBS FM.
That's right. And
it was one of two things. It was 101.1 or 88.
That's right.
Yeah, you had two choices.
Yep.
News
talk or 101.1.
The oldies.
Talk radio.
Yep.
And then Buick, right? Buick in general. If I see a Buick, if somebody talks to me about a Buick, there's two things that come back, right? The old Buick Regal and then Uncle Jim's Buick.
Yep.
And
you did a lot more on that
summers
than we did. You were, because
I was
being younger.
I hated going to soccer practice because we'd be working on the Buick, getting ready for a show down at Booton High School or, wherever the car show was for the weekend. And that was the old steering column shifter. Claimed I learned how to drive a stick shift on that thing, but
you didn't learn how to
that's
drive
stuff
stick
that we don't do now, right? You don't. Some people do, but I feel like it's a lost art of learning from your extended family, right? You go to Uncle Jim's and you knew you were going to learn something. You were going to fix something.
100%.
I fixed everything with duct tape. He said something to me the other day. I was draining the hot tub and I had duct tape two hoses together. She goes, "You can't fix that with duct tape." I said, "Sweetheart, you can fix anything with duct tape.
Everything with duct tape.
Just go to Aunt Di's house and look at the electrical."
Yeah. I talked to Jeff the other day and he said, he's like, "Man, I'm trying to figure out this pool filter. And, my dad used to fix stuff and it would kind of work, but now I got to fix all this stuff and I don't know where any of it goes." And I'm like, well, that's Jim. That's what we got, but we fixed it. We made it work. So yeah, how are you guys going to implement 90s summer if you're going to implement 90s summer?
We've already had the kids out riding bikes. We get home and I love it because we have a community pool and it just reminds me it's got the fence around it. It's 100% like the Sandlot pool. where you got
How's the lifeguard look? That's the big question.
you got Squints looking through the chain link fence, and Wendy Peppercorn sitting up on that lifeguard stand, and you have all these kids running around. And I mean, I don't know where my kids are half the time, and that's awesome. Like, go play down on the blacktop, go swimming. And that's part of the awesomeness of it, is being able, letting them do it, because the freedom, I feel like we didn't have it for a while. Like, everybody was so worried about their kids, and like, you had to have your thumb on them, had to make sure you knew where they were. And yeah, there are aspects that you do need to know where they are, but this pool is fenced in. They have enough lifeguards. Like, the only place you can really lose them is in the bathroom. Like, that's the only place you can't see them. So they're either playing basketball, or they're swimming, or they're running. Just run them out. And that's the best part of it, is it's bringing back that feeling of getting the kids out there to have the fun that a lot of them are missing on screen time. I mean, you can social media, Roblox, all that stuff is great for the bonding with the kids, having friendships and everything. But that one-on-one FaceTime is something that I think was lacking. And that comes back to like the communication that we were talking about, where you have to have that communication ability to talk to everyone and be like, hey, listen, is so-and-so home? Can they come out and play? Like, we have that now. We have great neighbors down the street, and my girls we can watch them all the way down. They walk down there and say, hey, listen, is Riley home? Can she come out and play? And that's fantastic. Like, they just get on their bikes and go. And that's what really pushing this summer is like, hey, listen, get off the TV. No more video games or anything. Just get out there and play. Run.
So
Go play tag.
That's a great spot that I kind of want to piggyback off of for my house is, and for all you parents out there who have kids with training wheel bikes, get them Striders. My twins started riding their bikes at 3, and now they're on big bikes and have freedom. It's like, I remember as a kid, as soon as you got a bike, you had the freedom. Great sound, Jay. Jay just cracked.
Came across?
Yes, it did.
I tried to hide it.
But that's a 90s summer sound right there. Perfect
True.
sound clip.
It's true. I'm a pro.
The freedom of bikes, that's what it's like. Aiden has realized that, hey, can I just go on a bike ride around the neighborhood? Now, I know he's going to go down trails. He's going to go find his way into something he doesn't belong in. But as long as he's established with me that he can come back and he can tell me, hey, Dad, I saw a bunch of big kids out there and they were cursing or they were playing with a BB gun, as long as he's honest with what he comes across, and, if he gets caught or gets yelled at, he was just playing baseball late at night. My neighbor texted me while I'm at work. Great story. Everything go back to baseball. He's playing baseball with a real baseball on the street, and he bumps just a small little plastic spot of my neighbor's daughter's car. And he texts me and goes, hey, I just had to, tell your son to go in. He was super respectful and whatnot. And I came home from work, I remember the next day, and I was like, hey, so where'd you hit Miss Grace's car? And he goes, how'd you know? I'm like, come on, dude. Like, we know. Like,
We know all.
He was super respectful. He was super honest. And that's where, like, the 90s summer stuff is for you parents out there. Like, it's okay to let go a little bit. Let that leash out a little bit, like a retractable dog leash. Like, you can stop it a little bit if you need to, but let them go explore. I hate to say let them get in trouble. Let them get in a little bit of trouble and see what kind of, like, throw them in the lake. Do they sink or do they swim? And feel it out, because the more they realize that they get this freedom, the more responsible they're going to be when they come home and they're tired and they're like, you know what, I'm going to go to bed. Or I've got to get up early because I'm meeting so-and-so at the pond tomorrow morning because we just hooked a huge bass and we missed it. So I want to make sure I catch that bass. So yeah, like, you have the community pool. I've got the yacht club. Again, redneck yacht club, right? It's like Deer Lake growing up. We go there. They go off on their own. They bring their fishing stuff. They go play on the playground. If they're outside that pool area, it's free reign. It's free reign. Go explore. Go find out what you can get into. But in our house, it's understanding there's so much freedom with responsibility. And I think that's what we're going to push home, hopefully this summer, and give kind of Brittany and I a little bit of a break. Go out there. You want to play out front? Go ahead, play out front. You can go from stop sign to stop sign in our neighborhood. Like, we'll give them the street, but we are friends with everybody on the street. So if you do something down at the other end, there's most likely going to be a text message that comes in, or at least, that phone call. It might not be the phone on the wall, but yeah, it's that freedom of responsibility.
Yeah, I would echo that. Both sentiments, right? I'm fortunate to have a pool, so I don't have a yacht club. I don't have a community pool. I have the resort in the backyard. Plus my lot backs up to woods with a stream and all kinds of stuff back there. So I told my kids today, I said, you have no excuse to be bored. There is so much stuff for you to do. Get outside and do something. I don't care what it is. Just go outside and do something. And I think one of the biggest things that the three of us, between Jay and Mike and myself have talked about in the past 5 minutes is let your kids be kids. And I'm not giving parenting advice. I don't want that to come across like that. But let your kids be kids. Let your kids be what we were back when we were kids. Give them the ability to fail. And we talked about that last episode, right? Failure breeds confidence. Failure, sometimes you need to fail to learn what's right and wrong. So like Mike said, let your kids get in trouble a little bit, not severely in trouble, but
I mean, we got in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
It's
let kids get in trouble.
I'm not saying we were out tagging the school with spray paint. One of my favorite stories is Sean and I were sitting in the front yard and we were tossing rocks into the street, and our idiot selves decided to throw a rock at a car, and it ended up being the building inspector for the town.
Eddie.
The pucker effect was 150% in effect at that point. And Eddie knew Dad. And
yep.
You knew
Dad knew everybody, like we said.
Dad knew everybody. And we talk about the love you pal and how that was Dad's, how he used to end every call with us was love you pal. But the thing about the pal is that, hey pal, is everybody, hey pal, what's going on? Hey, how are you, pal? Everybody's was pal. And like we were talking about last episode, Dad couldn't remember everybody's name because he literally was friends with everyone. If you met him, you were his friend. So
yeah, he knew Eddie though, and he took it out on us.
We got a good chewing for that one.
Yeah, that was a real situation that we put ourselves in there.
We only hit the tire,
Grandpa throwing golf balls. Grandpa used to throw golf balls, so we were just pebbles. But yeah, let your kids get in trouble, man. Let them go out and let them explore. Let them be kids. I think that's one of the things that we've kind of lost as a generation is we're so worried about our kids, and the world has kind of changed a lot in the past 30 years since we were kids. But let them be kids. Make sure they're safe, but also let them go out, get in trouble, and fail. Because that's the only way that we're gonna see true growth from our kids is by putting them in situations where they have to make decisions and where they have to, put them in a moral dilemma. They might be in a moral dilemma, and then all of a sudden they have to come back and admit fault for something. Hey, thank you for telling me. That's an important thing, right? And I think that's where, and we're going to get into this later and later and later, just where our generation kind of not fails, but struggles a little bit, is that we don't let our kids take accountability for a lot of stuff.
And it's that sandwich generation, Sean. I mean, we are that generation that we know what freedom looks like without social media growing up as kids. But yet at the end of the day, we truly know what it's also like to keep 100%.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I
can you focus for a minute?
You're talking. Focus.
But yeah, that sandwich generation of we know what that freedom is, but we also know what that helicopter parent's like with electronics, and we have to figure out how to evenly balance that to let them learn to be kids and let them go explore and learn the hard things, like you said, a moral dilemma. And hopefully, teaching that with our generation to this up and coming generation, we can bring back, 90s summers for more years to come. It's relating our experiences as kids during the 90s to now. How can we get back to that as a generation, the last generation to really experience it?
Yeah, I think that's a culture change, right? I think that starts with our generation and people that are our age is to change that culture and then show the next generation of people like, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be the helicopter parent. You can let your kids go. You can give them some responsibility and make sure that they understand that, I'm going to give you enough leash for you to bark and for you to get yourself in trouble, but I'm still there to pull you back and say, hey, maybe that wasn't a good decision. Maybe we need to make a better decision there. So yeah, I think that's an important thing that we're trying to get across, and that's the 90s summer type thing, right? At this point, I'm going to ask like 2 or 3 questions to you guys, and then we're going to close out because we're getting a little long. But I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and I need your honest take on these things before we close out. So, hose water. Is hose water
Delicious.
better than tap water for a summer thirst quench?
100%.
Just don't be the first one.
Nope, that was your job, Michael.
I'm going to go with 100%.
Especially
yeah.
on a 100
Hose
foot
water
hose.
is way better than tap water on a hot summer day. I asked Michael this question earlier when he was over. Jay, I'm going to ask you, what was the name of the video store on Main Street in Boonton?
Main Street?
Yep, next to Roma.
Don't remember.
Neither do I.
Video Mania.
Video Mania.
It was a big
And then
VM.
there was-
It was a
there
big
was the-
VM too, wasn't it?
There was
Right
the
on the
place in
sign.
Dell's Village too.
That's correct.
And
I
that
don't remember
place,
that one.
I don't remember the place. I don't remember the name of that one, but that one had the curtain back room
Room.
that we
yeah.
weren't allowed to go in.
Yeah. And then let's see. I think those are the main questions that I had.
Do you?
So,
I got one.
go
I
ahead.
have one.
all right, send it.
Do you remember the photo booth that was in the IGA in Boonton, where you had to drop off the rolls of film and
Yes,
get them
yep.
back?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I do. Yep.
Right in the produce section, dropped your film off, and you went and picked it up.
Yeah.
I just
No
remember
instant
Blockbuster by Target.
photos. No instant
No.
photos. All right. You guys got anything else to add about a 90s summer and how we can
let's,
bring it back this year?
Let's push those questions out to you guys.
Go on, that's a great face you're making right now.
Because I'm looking at the screen. It says Mike's device is struggling.
I just see Michael's couch in the background now.
No, I see him. All right. So next week, I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'm not sure where we're going to go with next week, but we will tease it on social media. So make sure that you're following us on Instagram, Love You Pal Pod, Facebook, Love You Pal Podcast, and TikTok, Love You Pal Podcast. And subscribe to any of your favorite podcast channels so you have the ability to see every week our new episode. So you're keeping up with this sandwich generation and how we can kind of bring it back to where we were when we were kids and just essentially make the world a better place. Let's be honest. So if you guys got anything else? Good. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week. Till that time, love you, pal.
Love you, pal.